Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Yes. Can the folks on the teams hear us okay?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Yes, you can hear us.
Yes.
Okay, well, welcome to Citizen Advisory Council meeting on February 11th, 2026. We are going to call the meeting to order, so a motion to call our meeting to order from our council.
Motion.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All right. Thank you. We will go ahead and proceed with the roll call for our council members.
Sir.
Here.
Isa. Here. Kelly.
Here.
Armor.
Here.
Micah. Micah.
Here, I think you're saying Mike Carr.
Casey. Kara.
I'm here.
So we got 6 members in attendance. All
right. So again, thank you for joining us. We are going to go through our agenda items, and we have a brief thing to start with, and then we'll start the interview of the applicants. So for those on the teams, we'll call your name. If you're here present in person, you can come up to this chair, and then we'll just ask you about your interest and a few questions from the council. For those on the teams, we just ask that when it is not your turn to speak, if you could please keep yourself muted so that we can hear everybody in here and there are no distractions. Okay. Yep. All right, so moving on to approving the meeting minutes from January 12th, 2026. Has the council had the chance to review the meeting minutes?
Motion to accept the minutes?
I second.
All right, we will go ahead and accept the meeting minutes from January 12th. All right, so we're going to call our first applicant up. Is Joseph Cahoro here? All right, Joseph, please come up here. So we're just going to ask you to tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll ask you some questions. But I see here you are interested in the Board of Health. Is that still the case?
Yes, sir.
All right. Awesome. So please go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're interested in the Board of Health.
A pleasure. It's a pleasure being here. My name is Joseph Cahoro, lifelong resident of Worcester. I'm born in Kenya, Nairobi, Kenya, which is East Africa, but migrated to Worcester, Mass. with my mom when I was young, about 5 or so. Grew up in Worcester. Went to the old Granite Street Elementary School, for those that remember before it shut down. But anyway, I'm currently a physician assistant practicing in primary care, private practice, but I continue to live in Worcester, commitment to Central Mass. Interested in joining the Board of Health, just because, one, by default, my nature, and I'm very involved in the city. I've got about 2,000 patients on my patient panel for primary care when I practice out in Southbridge, and I just look forward to, any potential opportunity in joining the board, and I'm eager and I'm passionate about the city, and I'm proud with how far the city has come from those days to where it's at now.
Awesome. Thank you. Any questions from the council?
Yes. Mr. Cahoro, how are you?
Pleasure. Good, thank you.
Are you familiar with the board at all? Are you familiar with the board?
This particular
The Board of Health?
Yes.
Okay. So
Yes.
you know when they meet, what their purpose is, and
Yes.
more or less?
Yes.
All right. Any changes you'd like to make to the board, or something you might be able to bring to it?
Just fresh ideas, and lot of listening and learning before I can be, but yes, so,
Okay,
Yep, yep.
Thank you.
yep, thank you.
Other questions? All right, seeing there's no questions, we will move to a vote for the Joseph Cajoro for the Board of Health.
All right, Joseph for the Board of Health. Tara,
Yes.
Thank you,
Kelly,
Yes.
thank you.
Armor,
Yes.
Thank you,
Izzy,
Yes.
thank you,
Micah, Carol,
Yes.
thank you.
yeah.
All right, so we have the votes to move you on to the next step of the process, so folks
you.
from City Hall will be reaching out about the next steps.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck to you.
All right, our next applicant is Brett Turner. Brett Turner. All right, we will come back to Brett. What about Tariq Octave? Tariq, please come on up. How are you doing?
Good evening, good evening.
So we have here that you are interested in the Advisory Commission on Youth as well as the Advisory Commission on the African American and Black Affairs.
Yes,
Is
sir.
that correct? All right. If you could please tell us about yourself and why you're interested.
Of course. So, similar to the person before me, I was born and raised in Worcester, just turned 31 years old. I know Worcester like the back of my hand. I grew up on the Lincoln Street area. I went to Nativity School for middle school and elementary. Went to St. John's School afterwards, and then Nichols College. I currently work downstairs in the clerk's office, and I enjoy being a father to my newborn daughter and watching sports.
Thank you. Questions from the council? We'll start with the Advisory Commission on Youth.
Hi, how
How
are
you
you?
doing?
Why the interest on the advisory for the youth? What brought you to that conclusion that you'd like to help out with them?
Yeah, that touches me a lot. Before my job, at City Hall, I had a lot to do with the youth, whether that's with the Nativity School, either giving back to, kids like me who didn't really have a promising future and just trying to make it, or if that's also just being in other programs, whether it's just tutoring, students after school, Friendly House basketball as well. It stinks because there's not two of me in. I'm a newborn father, so I can't really give my time like I used to, but I commit a lot to the youth. I'm not trying to call myself a celebrity or anything, but I'm pretty much a big voice for youth wherever it goes to. If it's either on social media, if it's in person, I will definitely always try to, make sure our youth are the future and have something promising to look forward to. And especially, I'm not trying to call anybody here old by any means, but if they can see like a face that's kind of a little bit, just, similar kind of to their age, they will believe it more and things like that. But yeah, I really just enjoy. I just want to make Worcester a better place, and I know that youth can be the biggest start for that.
Very well-rounded. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I appreciate your honesty.
Any other questions regarding the Commission on Youth or African American and Black Affairs?
Yes. Hi. Thank you for being here. Could you talk a little bit more of what impact you'd like to have on either of these advisory boards?
Of course. So, honestly, no disrespect, I don't really know what was done before. I did try to do a little bit of research and try to see like what the board has implemented in the city or tried to do. But to be honest, I'm not trying to say I want to be the biggest change or anything like that. Obviously, I want to be on the board to see what's going on, what we have the potential to do, and then, just work my magic, either reach out to, businesses or schools or programs and see what I can do.
I have a question, a point of interest. Had they started meeting yet? I know there was a period where they didn't have a liaison from the HR. Is that a question you can answer for me? Have they started meeting yet?
For Africa, no.
They haven't started meeting. All right, so they're still waiting. Okay.
If I may touch on one more thing too, I didn't bring up. Sad to say too, a lot of African American youth, it is a hard, definitely a hard time for them in this city as far as right now. So I want to make things, a lot easier for everybody in that predicament, per se.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, so we will go ahead and move to a vote for Tarek Octave on the Advisory Commission on Youth first.
All right, Tariff for Advisory Commission on Youth, Kelly,
Yes.
Ter,
Yes.
Emma,
Yes.
Izzy,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Casey, all right.
All right, so we will move to a vote for Tarek for the Advisory Commission on African American and Black Affairs.
Excuse me 1 minute. My name's Mike Richard. I don't know if I'm being called, to vote.
All right, we'll make sure to,
Yes, I've been calling you, but I don't know why.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm missing it or something, but I apologize.
Can you still vote on this?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, Terry for the Advisory Commission on African American and Black Affairs. Micah? Mike?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
Amber?
yes.
Ter?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
All 6 members voted in favor of Terry for the second commission.
Awesome. Thank you, Tarek.
Thank you guys so much.
Now you'll hear back from the city about the next steps of the process. Thank you.
I'm excited.
Thank you.
Okay. Is Monica Thomas Bonnick here? Monica. All right. What about Taryn Hayes? Haynes, I mean. Taryn Haynes. All right, we will come back to them. Is Chad Rankin here? Chad Rankin. Okay. All right, what about Yvette Almeida? All right, we'll come back to them. So, what about Isaac Lynn and Yanabo? Doesn't look like they're on teams or here. Okay. Joseph Murphy. We'll get one eventually, right? Joseph Murphy. Okay. Kristen Labrick. Kristen Labrick. All right. We'll move on to Lawrence Haley. Is Lawrence here? Lawrence Haley. All right. Hayatollah Farhat. Hayatollah Farhat. Okay, we'll move on to Colin Daly. Is Colin here? I just want to make sure if the folks on the teams can hear me, right? Yes, okay. Thank you for the thumbs up. I appreciate that. Okay, Joshua Curavan. Joshua? No? All right, our next person is Noelia Shafoya. Is Noelia here? Okay. What about Jennifer Bradford? Jennifer Bradford. Okay. Nicole Bell Pina. All right, we'll move on to Madeline Escobar. Okay. What about Aletta Hong? Aletta? It doesn't seem like it. Okay. Robert Pizzella? Is Robert Pizzella present? And you
Good
are
evening.
on the screen. Hello,
Good evening.
Robert. All right, Robert. So I have here that you are interested in the Board of Health and the Parks and Recreation Commission. So if you could please tell us a little bit about yourself and why you are interested in each board and commission.
Sure. My name is Robert Pizzella, born and raised on the east side of Worcester. Currently, I'm working part-time for a community special education collaborative as a school safety advisor. Prior to that, I served as the school safety director for 25 and a half years for the Worcester Public Schools. And prior to that, I had many jobs that were health-related, as to why my interest on the Board of Health has become recent again. For over 40 years, I've been giving back to the city of Worcester, both in a volunteer capacity, like I would like to do on the Board of Health if appointed, and in various health positions too, related to such work as I worked at AIDS Project Worcester in the early 90s when the epidemic was full-flung in our nation, and I've also worked in the substance abuse epidemic. These are all issues that go before the Division of Public Health, that I know the Board of Health supervises on a lot of issues. And my roles at AIDS Project Worcester and other issues, including the safety director for the school system, I worked very closely on the jurisdiction of 3 superintendents with the Community Health Improvement Plan, which I know the Board of Health is very active in overseeing and trying to implement. I also worked very closely with Dr. Hirsch and former Commissioner Dr. Castile when we had COVID-19 pandemic. I was appointed on the city manager's incident command structure, where I worked very closely with the health department on implementing an effective response program for the city of Worcester in conjunction and interfacing with the public schools. I also, like I said, took a big interest in substance abuse going back over 40 years. I have been very public about my recovery. I'm in recovery for 40 years. I worked very closely with former Commissioner Castile in co-creating and co-directing and co-founding the Hector Reyes House. Back then, and still to this day, there's a lot of health and equity issues in regards to treatment for minority communities. And the Hector Reyes House has been a success, at least to where I feel it has been. And then I was served on the city manager and mayor's Youth Violence Commission, along with the superintendent, which dealt with youth violence issues in our community going back.
So, thank you,
On
thank you,
health
Rob. You
and interface
broke
with
up a
them,
little
along
bit.
with
Sorry, Rob,
I'm
to
sorry.
cut you off. You were breaking up a little bit, so we missed like that last minute or so. If you just wanted to repeat that.
Sure. Did I tell you about the community health improvement plan that I worked with? Did you get that?
You can go ahead and repeat it. Yeah.
Okay. What I did is that I worked very closely with all of the partners in the city on the community health improvement plan for the Worcester Public Schools. Along with COVID-19, I was a co-coordinator under the superintendent and worked very closely with Dr. Hirsch, Dr. Castile, the city manager, in developing a response plan for COVID-19. HIV/AIDS, like I said, I worked at AIDS Project Worcester, and in the early days of the epidemic, I have a good grasp of that, and I know that public health is very still active in HIV/AIDS. And youth violence, I serve on the Youth Violence Commission for the mayor and city manager, and on behalf of the superintendent, and came up with a very effective youth violence plan in the city of Worcester. And there are other things I worked on, and I think I do have experience to be able to work with my colleagues on the Board of Health if appointed, along with the Division of Public Health.
Thank you. We'll open it up for questions for the council. I actually have a question. Do you mind elaborating a little bit more about your interest in the Parks and Recreation Commission?
To be very honest with you, I was only interested in the Board of Health, and they asked if you could put one more, and that's why I put the Parks Commission.
That's no problem. So do you want to, just for the Board of Health, to vote on today for you?
Yes, please.
No problem. Okay.
Yes, please.
Well, any questions from the council?
I have a question. And maybe you can listen in on this too, because I didn't ask. Does the Board of Health still oversee the needle exchange program? Is that through them? Do you know anything about that, Rob?
Well, as far as policy, I think they have the right to conduct and implement the policy, but I do know that there's needle exchange that are going on in the city. I know there's it's a big issue right now about needles being throughout the city, and they're not being picked up, and I know that's a very, very big issue. And that's it. If I know that you asked earlier, what would impact you would want to have on a board? In this case, the substance abuse issue, the drug addiction issue is big in the city still, I believe. Homelessness and drug addiction, and making sure there's access to treatment, sober housing. I know that sober housing is in the city, and do we regulate and license sober houses to make sure they're running effectively? All of those things I'm involved and have been involved in some capacity. And as far as needle exchange programs or the distribution from drug clinics out there to active addicts on the street, I think that's an issue that still has to come to the forefront, but I don't know if it's not a policy of this, I believe, the Board of Health yet.
All right. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Hearing none, we can go ahead and move to a vote for Robert Pizzella.
Robert for the Board of Health. Mike,
Yes?
Kelly,
Yes.
Tia,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Amber,
Yes.
Izzy,
Yes, and thanks for all the work, Rob. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
all 6 members voted in favor.
All right. You will be hearing from the city on next steps. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Our next applicant is Ray Carville. Ray Carville. Okay. George Sedaris. George, hello. Thank you for joining us tonight. I have here that you are interested in the Worcester Ballpark Commission as well as the Community Preservation Committee. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. Well, if you could please tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're interested in those commissions.
I'm a lifelong resident of the city of Worcester, grew up in Maine South. Now I reside up in the north end of the city. I have 40-plus years of event management experience and facility experience. I'm going to be a huge asset to the ballpark. They did a wonderful job building it. I think there's some things that could have been done differently to make it more useful, and there's always a chance they could add to that. In the past, I've served in the city as a volunteer, 2 terms on the Parks Commission, and also a term on the Arts Council. I like the city of Worcester. I've had opportunities to move elsewhere in my career, and I've always stayed here. I'm one of the original employees of the Centrum. I helped open the building, and I finished my career there a couple years ago after 40 years.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your past work on the committees. We'll open it up to questions for the council.
Hi, George.
Hey.
What kind of changes would you like to see on the ballpark commission?
I think they need to meet a little more regularly. I know they don't. I know there's always talk about adding other events there, but in the time it's been open, I don't see any of the major events they've talked about doing there come to fruition. That's just lack of ability or lack of knowledge or infrastructure problems. But I'm aware of a couple issues over there from my experience that need to be rectified to handle those bigger events, but it's doable.
Thank you.
Other questions?
I have one. What events would you like to see there?
There was talk originally when it was being proposed and built about doing concerts. I think that could be a huge asset to the area, to the city in general. They could do more sporting events of a different variety. I know they've done boxing, they've done football, but there's other outdoor events that are doable in that kind of a stadium situation if you research a little bit.
Any other questions for George?
I'm just going to add one more, if I may. You mentioned like shows and events that are going on over there. Do you think that the stadium has accessibility for some of the equipment that might be necessary for that, or is that something that could be discussed or with the city council, or?
That would have to be discussed. I've been to many games over there. I've taken my grandchildren to some of the other events. I'm aware from my professional experience some of the issues to get some of the bigger events in there. They're solvable. Some require some funding, but it's not something that's impossible.
So that would be possible or wouldn't be?
There's nothing that's not possible.
Oh, right. All right, thank you.
Sure.
All right, hearing no other questions, we will move to a vote for George Sedaris on the Worcester Ballpark Commission.
George for the Worcester Ballpark Commission. Mark?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
Casey? Carol?
Yes.
Izzy?
Yes.
Tara?
Yes.
Hammer?
Yes.
All 6 members voted in favor of George for Worcester Ballpark. For the Community Preservation Committee, Mark?
Yes.
Izzy?
No.
Carol?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
Hammer?
Yes.
Tara?
Yes.
All right, so the motion passed, 5 voted in favor and 1 voted against.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, George. You'll hear from the city on the next steps. All right. Our next applicant is Timothy McSweeney, and I see you are on our teams. So, Tim, we have you here listed for the Worcester Arts Council as well as the Commission on Homelessness. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. If you don't mind telling us a little bit about yourself and why you're interested in both councils and commission.
Yeah, of course. Congratulations to everyone who's gone so far. But I'm very interested in both. I'm a lifelong Worcester resident, Lakeview School, East Middle, North High. Ended up going to school to Wheaton College on a theater scholarship for acting, and that's really where I fell in love with theater at the Worcester Public Schools. So arts are a big have had a really big impact on me. It was something that really made a kid from Worcester really kind of think outside the city and think outside the box, right? And it just was a wonderful gift. So, and I've carried that throughout my life. I worked in software sales for 15 years, traveled throughout the country, recently moved back to Worcester about 6 years ago, and decided I didn't want to just be like a citizen here. I wanted to be a part of the community. So I started working with various groups in Worcester. I actually brought One of the companies that I work with now, iBattle TV, which is it's a battle rap platform. I'm sure you guys are really familiar, but we are the largest battle rap platform in North America. I started working with them 4 years ago. We had about 23 million unique impressions throughout our socials. Just this past year, we have our own app as well. We grew that to 400 million through my direction. Impressions on social media. I do about 3 shows a year up in Worcester. Part of my shows in Worcester are highlighting different Worcester businesses, and we always will donate to different charities and food banks with proceeds from the shows as a way to give back to the city. It's just something that I'm a big passion for. We're an inclusive brand where it doesn't matter what your background is, what any of your ideologies are. If you can speak, if you could rap, anyone can speak, but if you can rap and you can rap well, then you're welcome here, and that's something that I'm very proud of. There's a real stigma with battle rap, but aside from the battle rap, I've been a big fan of theater. My family had season tickets to the Hanover. It's something that I really enjoyed going to as a child. I work with Casita Cultura with my dear friend Raquel Castro. They are a charity for to influence Hispanic arts in the Northeast. So that's something that I'm very proud of. We had a really great event a couple weeks ago that I helped put together. So yeah, that's where as far as the arts go, what was my interest. And I just think the arts can be more inclusive in terms of, like, I know you've been asking people what you could change about the committee. Was I couldn't find a ton of information on the committee, and I think Worcester does a fantastic job of bringing a lot of various arts to the people. And I think it's important that everybody feels included with what we're presenting as a city, and that's something that I'd like to be a part of. As far as the homelessness goes, I'm 9 years in recovery from opiate addiction, and a lot of platforms that I was able to use in the city helped me get my life back, right? And so it's really important to me, and I see there is a real tie between being unhoused and substance abuse. So it's something that I think that I'd be able to potentially bridge the gap. I still speak at various substance abuse like not like open mics, but like you can go and you can speak to the folks that are in it, and I do that once a month. It's something that it's really important to me, and I just think that I kind of bring a unique perspective as someone who, whereas I was never unhoused or homeless, a lot of the people that I see where I go speak are currently dealing with that situation. And as someone who kind of whereas I wasn't unhoused, but at the same time, drug addiction isn't a fun thing. So it's just something that I'm really proud that I was able to recover for, and I think that I can bring a lot of good, perspective to the committee, and I think I could really connect with people, and yeah, that's why I'm interested in both.
Thank you. Questions from the council?
Hi, Timothy.
Hello.
Let's skip over to the homeless. Any ideas what you'd like the city to be doing that would be more helpful in the community?
I just think, I'm sorry. I think dealing with the initial problem is a great start, but what are we doing to sustain folks once they get out of that situation? So I just think having more accessibility for community events, having more like pop-ups or things that we can do maybe downtown where there's or different areas that are impacted more harshly than others with the homelessness. I think that's a great start, because I think like getting people off the streets is the start, but then being able to sustain that, it's I know a lot of people, right now my career is I'm actually I run dispensaries in cannabis, and a lot of the people that work for me are going to food pantries regularly because a lot of companies just it's hard to have a livable wage with one job nowadays. So I just think really just not only just getting people from off the streets, but also giving them a pathway to build wealth, build equity, and I think that's something that the city could take maybe a harder look at.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Tim? All right, so we'll start with the vote on the Worcester Arts Council.
Tim for the Worcester Art Council. Mike?
Yes.
Izzy?
Yes, absolutely.
Carol?
Yes, please.
Kelly,
Yes.
Hammer,
Yes.
Tara.
Yes.
So all 6 members voted in favor of team for Worcester Arts Council. Team for the Advisory Commission on Homelessness. Mark,
Yes.
Issa,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Hammer,
Yes.
Tara.
Yes.
So all 6 members voted in favor of team for the Advisory Commission on Homelessness.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, guys. I don't want to let y'all down. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. You'll hear from the city on the next steps. We appreciate your time.
Appreciate y'all. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right. Our next applicant is Ajayi Harris, and I apologize if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly. All right. We'll move on to Sean Rose, and I do see you are on our teams. Hello, Sean.
Hello, good evening. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you great. So I have here
Excellent.
listed that you are interested in the Community Preservation Committee. Is that correct?
Yes, I am. Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right. If you could please tell us about yourself and why you're interested.
Yeah, I'm presently the president and CEO of the organization Thrive Support and Advocacy that supports disabled and intellectually disabled individuals, autism through the lifespan here in the city of Worcester and Middlesex West. I am a 3-time District 1 city councilor. I have been the chair of parks, I've been the chair of municipal operations, I was the chair of economic development, I was chair of economic development in the city of Worcester. I did $1 billion of public and private investment here in the city. I am on the boards of the Guild of St. Agnes, Early Childhood, Planting the Seed, the Regional Environmental Council, the Worcester Business Development Council. I'm the president of Worcester Union Athletics, an organization that supports young ladies who are doing travel softball but give back to the community in thousands and thousands of hours here in the city of Worcester. I'm a longstanding volunteer. I have a master's in education, superintendent licensure, principal licensure. I'm presently getting a second master's at Clark University through a master's of public administration. I was part of the ballot question in 2022 for the Community Preservation Act. I know it very intimately. I understand the city budget very intimately. I have a lot of insights into what's going on in this community, in the city, and varying communities throughout the city in real time. And the idea that I would be able to create some funding towards open space or affordable housing or community preservation or recreation is near and dear to my heart. I have 4 daughters who have grown up and gone through all the public schools in the city, and I want them to come back here after college and live and work and feel proud about what they're, coming back here and raising their kids here in the same way that their mom did. So super excited to be the potential to be a part of this committee, and want to thank you all for your service. I think that on the outside looking in, a lot of people think that you all get paid for what you're doing. It's volunteering, a lot of hours, a lot of taking away from all the things that you have to deal with in your own families and your day-to-day life. So I want to thank you for your service as well, and appreciate you all taking the time to hear my application here.
Thank you, Sean. We appreciate that info. Questions from the council?
Sean, you still on the board of 508 Forever Young?
What's that?
You still on the board with 508 Forever Young?
Peripherally, yes. I do everything that I can.
No,
to
if you
support
left that
them.
off of your resume there, so.
Yeah. No, I'm with them peripherally. I always do everything I can to support them and help them. But as you may or may not know, is I try to fly, under the radar and a lot of things. And but yeah, no, they do incredible work, and happy to be a part of them and working with them as much as I can.
Yeah, no, I appreciate everything you do for the city, so thank you.
Thank you, Vicky.
Any other questions? And if you don't hear questions from the council, it's not because we don't have any, it's just you did a great job explaining your interest. So we'll go ahead and move to a vote.
Sean, for the Community Preservation Committee, Mac,
Yes.
Acer,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes, sir, you have quite an impressive resume. Thank you for everything that you do.
Oh, thank you, Carol. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Kelly,
Yes, and I agree.
Amber,
Yes.
Tara.
Yes.
All right, all 6 members voted in favor of Sean for the Community Preservation Committee.
Again, and again, thank you all for all you do. I know what it's like to take away from your everyday life to support the city, and I really appreciate all that you do. Appreciate your nomination, and again, thank you so much.
Good luck.
Thank you, Sean. You'll hear from the city on the next steps. We appreciate your time. All right, our next applicant is Xantia Sita. Xantia. Okay. Next applicant is Francis Paisenia. Francis. All right. All right, Sharon Strzelkowski. Looks like you're on the teams. Hello, Sharon.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
We can hear you okay. I have
Very
here
good.
that I have here that you are listed as being interested on the Commission on Elder Affairs. Is that correct?
Yes,
All right. If you don't mind telling us a little bit about yourself and why you're interested.
sure. I am not a native of Worcester. I've lived here about 30 years, and I'm retired as a vocational rehabilitation counselor for Mass Commission for the Blind. I am totally blind from birth. And I also worked for UMass Medical School in their information and referral unit, and became interested in elder affairs because about 8 years ago, I moved to what many people know as Highland House, which is a large apartment building on the west side of Worcester. And I've been able to watch a lot of people as they've gone from one stage of life to another, and seeing their transitions as they get older, and the struggles that people have, and the things that work well. And it's really spiked my interest. I've also been going to the senior center now for a couple of years, and I'm really impressed by the diversity of people there and the many programs. I think that I would bring to the commission some ideas, some blindness specific, but more beyond that. The blindness specific things are some better information accessibility than what there currently is. And as far as just general elder, I think I'm kind of a resource hound. And I think when people are trying to make decisions, it's really hard to collect stuff in one place and figure out what's available. And that's something that I'm passionate about trying to help with. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions from the council?
Hi, Sharon. I'm
Hi.
just curious, what would you like to see that commission do differently than what it does now? That, any idea?
No, I don't really know that much about what has happened in the commission. I have to be honest, I had a little trouble finding out where their minutes are and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. One of the areas of interest for me, and I see this in my building all the time, is people who become non-drivers in the city of Worcester, who have been able to drive and now cannot for whatever reason, and making sure that they have access. Some of that is a transportation WRTA kind of thing, but I wonder if the commission might do better in helping with that. Also, I've been hearing people talking about events in the city and arts council, and those are so important. And I think trying to get a little more volunteer involvement to help elders who would like to go and can't go on their own is something that really interests me.
Thank you.
Other questions for Sharon? Okay. All right, we'll move on to a vote.
Sharon for the Commission on Elder Affairs. Mark,
Yes.
Issa,
Absolutely, yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Amber,
Yes.
Tara.
Yes.
All right, all 6 members voted in favor of Sharon for the Commission on Elder Affairs.
Thank you. Thank you, Sharon. You'll hear from the city on the next steps. All right, our next applicant is Aaliyah Marie Melville. Aaliyah Marie. Okay, Dante Comparetto. Hello, Dante. How are you doing? Good. So I have here that you are interested in the Commission on Homelessness as well as the Community Development Block Grant Advisory Committee. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm primarily interested in the Commission on Homelessness.
Okay. Did you want to have us vote on both or just the Commission on Homelessness?
I can speak to both, but I'll be
Okay.
speaking primarily to the Commission on
Sure.
Homelessness.
Okay. All right. So please tell us about yourself and why you're interested.
Sure. Well, why I'm interested is because I have both lived experiences with homelessness as well as professional experience working with the homeless community. So I was raised by a single mom, and by the time I was a teenager, I was homeless. And at the age of 17, I was almost killed in gun violence. And it was at that point that I knew that I needed to turn my life around. With the right kind of help, with wraparound services, I was able to do just that, went back to school, got my bachelor's degree at urban studies at Worcester State. I would eventually get my master's in public administration at Clark University and my master's in teaching at American University. I decided I wanted to help other people that were in a similar situation I was in, so I helped start an organization that works with homeless and at-risk youth. We provided outreach services in a drop-in center in Maine South, where we provided services to help kids get on their feet and in the right direction. And since then, I've been working on all sorts of community development initiatives and programs, over 20 years of experience giving back to Worcester. I've served on the Worcester Arts Council, the library, the Worcester Public Library Board of Directors, and I served on the school committee. I'm just looking at this point to continue my services. I've been teaching high school social studies, and a lot of my students are experiencing poverty, and there's a lot we can do. Poverty is a man-made problem, and we can come up with good local-based solutions to it, and I'd like to contribute to that.
Thank you. Questions from the council?
Yes. So first of all, Dante, thank you for sharing your story of resilience, and I love that you're in education. So
Thanks.
Thank you for sharing that with us. I know your primary focus is, of course, the Commission on Homelessness. Can you talk through, for the Community Development Block Grant Advisory Committee, what you would hope to bring to that space as well, if given the opportunity?
Sure. So the Community Development Advisory Committee, Community Development Block Grants were initially also created as a way to take on, as an anti-poverty initiative for cities, right? And of course, with the federal government recently reducing the amount of contributions to the Community Development Advisory Block Grant Fund, of course, we're able to do a limited amount of things with those funds, right? But there's so many great organizations and nonprofits in Worcester still doing the work of anti-poverty work. I'm familiar with most of these organizations. I'm in the process right now of applying for a PhD in public policy because I'd like to study the issue of poverty. So I'd like to be able to contribute to either the the Commission on Homelessness or CDAC because both of them are kind of doing similar work and I'd be doing similar research, so.
Any other questions?
Yeah, hi, Dante.
Hi.
What would you like to see done for the homeless if you had the opportunity to
Yes, and I appreciate the question. And as you guys may or may not be aware of, homelessness is on an increase in Worcester. I'm aware, or not as aware as I should be, about some sort of effort to develop some sort of, or at least update some sort of plan on homelessness, to end homelessness. I've read the 2007 plan to end homelessness. I think a lot of the recommendations are accurate. However, it seems we're also not really discussing the root causes of poverty. And until we really start exploring that and start taking on ways to reduce poverty, we're going to also see homelessness still, right? Like, you can take on homelessness. It's kind of a Band-Aid to a problem of poverty, right? So we also need to be considering poverty, right? And so I'd like to think, I think we should be studying some of the root causes of poverty in Worcester, and I think that should be included in whatever master plan or strategic plan that we start working on to that end. By the way, I've also worked on numerous strategic plans and master plans over my years of service with the city. The most recent one was with the school strategic plan.
I'm just going to follow up with, what do you think that could be done immediately, if we could? To try?
Immediately, I mean, the immediate problem is our housing situation, right? So we have like a 2% vacancy, a 2%, non-vacancy rate, right? Like, that's just, I think that number right there speaks to the challenges we have. We just don't have enough housing stock, period, in Worcester. I could speak to the fact that upon trying to move back here recently, right, it was very hard to move back to Worcester because of the lack of housing. So, I think the first and foremost thing to work on would be that. But I think there are a number of things that need to be worked on. The issue of homelessness and poverty is extremely complicated with many contributing factors. And I think we need to look at them all.
Now, I have an estimate of how many people that we might have homeless in Worcester. What's your estimate?
Well, actually, and that's another thing that speaks to my point that I think this is an issue that needs to be studied. It seems as though we don't actually have an exact number of those experiencing extreme poverty in Worcester. I've seen numbers thrown around between 30 and 10,000. I don't actually think we have an actual number, because I don't think no one's actually done an accurate count on that. And that's part of the work that needs to happen. We need to know the scale and the extent of the problem in order to come up with some solutions.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions for Dante?
Yeah, Dante, I got a question, actually. Do you have any experience with drug addiction and how it relates to homelessness in the city, or what?
Well, and that too, unfortunately, I have some lived experiences and professional experience with, drug addiction can be a big aspect. Of homelessness. Not only is it like, can it be a cause, but also it can be something that happens as a result of homelessness, right? I am in recovery at this point. Been so for many years. I have a lot of ideas about the types of things that should happen to help with recovery. I mean, it takes an extensive wraparound approach, right? In my case, it took not just recovery, but housing. It took mentorship. It took workforce training programs. All of these things were equally important for my own stabilization.
Yeah, I asked that because you were focused on the poverty thing, but I think the perception is that drugs cause a big problem with it, so.
Sure.
But thank you for your answer, it's awesome.
All right, hearing no other questions, we will move to a vote for the Commission on Homelessness.
All right, Dante, for the Commission on Homelessness. Mac?
Yes.
Asa?
Yes, absolutely.
Carol?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
Amber?
Yes.
Tara?
Yes.
All 6 members voted in favor of Dante for the Commission on Homelessness. The Community Development Block Advisory Committee, Mark?
No.
Isa?
No.
Carol?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
Irma?
Yes.
Tara?
I have to say no on this one, I'm sorry.
So it's 3 against 3. We will have to vote again.
Say 3-3?
Yeah.
Can I change my vote?
Oh, yeah. If you decide to change it, that's great.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. All right. So, 4 voted in favor of community development block grant advisory committee, and then 2 voted against. So, the motion passed.
So you'll be hearing from the city on the next steps. Thank you for your time, Dante.
Sure, thank you. Thank you for your service, y'all.
Thank you, Dante.
Basically, I know he touched on federal government and stuff, but basically the community development block grant advisory committee, the city received tons of grants from the state and of course from the federal government. And what the committee does is all the different local organizations apply, and then the committee is charged with the responsibility to review all the applications and then disperse the grant according to needs of the different organizations. So they are not going out there to look for money. The money is already there.
Yeah, in my opinion, it's more of an underwriting experience position than a community position. But
yeah, definitely. All right.
Awesome. Thank you for the context. All right, our next applicant is George Russell. George, hello. How you doing, George?
Thank you.
So
Thank
I have here that you're interested in the Worcester Ballpark Commission as well as the Worcester Redevelopment Authority.
Yeah, the way the application went, you picked 2, so I kind of, if the manager thought he needed me on the redevelopment commission, I would consider it. But my main reason for being here tonight is to apply for the ballpark commission.
Did you still want us to consider you for
Yeah,
the?
if you want, just in
Sure,
case you
okay.
needed me. I mean, I've got experience on both.
All right. So, well, if you don't mind telling us a little bit more about yourself and your interest
Sure.
in both of these.
Well, my name is George Russell. I'm in the real estate business in Worcester. I've been in the real estate business for, well, I don't know, as long as I can remember, just about been 35 years or so. I'm a graduate of Worcester State College, a graduate of St. John's High School, a neighborhood person. Many people recognize me from my activity over the last 14 years as a Worcester City Councilor. I served the District 3 as a city councilor for 14 years, getting elected 7 times, deciding not to run for re-election, and then deciding that I was probably a little bit bored, so I better come back and see you folks. Before that, I served 8 years on the planning board. I was one of the people that helped draft the zoning ordinance that we're actually still using today, even though it should be updated. I, like Sean Rose and like other folks that spoke to you this evening, appreciate your effort, because I know from my experience on the planning board that it's a thankless job to be involved in some of these committees and commissions, and I truly appreciate your efforts. But one of the things that I did on the city council was I was the chairman of the city's Public Works Committee for probably about 10 years. I was on the committee for the 14 years that I was there. One of the things the Public Works Committee does is that they're in charge of facilities, buildings, that kind of thing. But yet it's only one of a long list of things that we deal with. I was on the council when we put in the ballpark and financed the ballpark and did the original deal where we announced it here in this room. And I think it's been great, quite frankly. I think it's been great, but I also think there are things that we talked about originally that are not happening there now. Simple things like, I was at Hank Stoltz's radio station, radio show the other day, right across from the ballpark, and I looked across and I said, where's the walking path that we were promised? Things like that should have been a little bit more of a community thing that I would look forward to working with the WooSox and with the other members of the commission to kind of try to improve some of those things. And ultimately, you know, it's running a deficit. So I'd like to see what we could do to get it not running a deficit. And it would give me an opportunity as a member of that volunteer board to focus some energy and some specifics on that I wasn't able to focus as chairman of Public Works.
Thank you. Questions from the council?
Hi, Judge. I know the last couple of years we had a considerable amount of deficit. I think last year was 400. The prior year was
Yeah,
about 8.
It's been I don't remember the exact numbers, but it was, the whole theory of the ballpark financing was they put a ring around it, basically, and the added revenue from that, from new construction, new development in those areas was supposed to pay the debt service on the ballpark. Then COVID hit. You know, some of the buildings that were supposed to be built were not built, and other things down the road that didn't fall into place. But there has been, I think the deficit last year was, if I remember right, like 600, 700,000, but I think it's ran probably close to 200,000. Excuse me, close to 2 million total.
It's heading there. So specifically, what do you think the commission could do to change some of those issues that we're
Anything we
having?
could do to make more money,
Yeah.
quite frankly. You know, you asked another applicant about the facilities and whether it was able to be used for other kinds of things. I think the real close look is in the contract, because even things like, you know, like the city council's inaugural, at one point, I think that they had talked about having it there, but then you look into the contract and you say, well, then you got to do everything through the WooSox and that kind of stuff. And the community aspect and the community days that they have available, I don't think have been utilized as well as they could be. That's number one. But it would be great to get more things in there. Again, anything to make more money for the neighborhood, make more money for the facility, make more money for the team.
Do you think a change in contract would be helpful?
Well, I think that we have to look at it, but the commission, I remember having a debate as a member of the city council on whether we should have a commission or not. And originally, I was kind of concerned about the word commission, because commission is commission. It's not an advisory board, it's a commission that's really tasked with that. And then at one point, there was a vote on the council to actually do away with the commission and to put it back in the hands of just the city manager by himself. And I wasn't in favor of that after seeing some of the good activity that was on the commission. So,
All right. Thank you, Judge.
thank you.
Other questions?
Yes. Hi, George.
Oh,
Thank
hi.
you for being here, and also thank you for your service to Worcester, as you thanked us, but you have far more experience than I do, so very impressive.
Thank you.
And looking at that next option, the Worcester Redevelopment Authority, are there kind of some specific ideas or an impact that you'd hope to have in that area as
Well,
well?
the redevelopment authority deals primarily with the downtown area and what goes on to basically they take over some properties and sometimes even just threaten to take over some properties and get them to renovate them and to work them out properly. So, you know, I remember when the Midtown Mall over here was in disarray, and some of the conversations around the redevelopment authority where it actually ended up getting done privately. So that's a good thing, too. But the redevelopment authority actually had the responsibility of doing the ballpark. Everybody thinks it's just the city of Worcester. Well, it wasn't just the city of Worcester. It was turned over to the redevelopment authority that did the deals and acted as a centerpiece to basically do that. So that's why they're very intertwined.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Quick question and maybe a comment. George, when they were building that ballpark, I kind of remember them promoting the idea that there are going to be concerts there. Did that fall apart in the contracts?
I think, I don't know about the specifics in the contract, but I do know that the conversation has always been that when they talked about large, you know, like rock concert kind of facilities, that the place wasn't built for it. Now, for what reason and who goofed or who dropped the ball, or if they intentionally did it that way down the road, you know, I really don't know, but I think from here out, maybe there's a happy in between. Maybe they could do the types of concerts that they're, that are not requiring those big trucks with the, that they say can't fit on the field. Certainly, they squeeze that kind of stuff. Fenway Park's a lot bigger, but, some of the old parts of Fenway Park, and you see what they do there. But the bottom line is that I think that we got a great working relationship with the Woo Sox. I'll look to improve that and work on that base, but also keep in mind that, we got to look out for the taxpayers, and the bottom line is it's got to make more money, and it's got to help develop that whole area, because that park, the building that was supposed to be in left field is still not developed. The other things nearby, and it's all got to do with the ballpark is the centerpiece of it. That's what it's about. And
I
Thank
believe
Thank you.
Madison made a deal with that property. and
again,
it's
please,
been-
Ted, I didn't hear you.
I could be wrong, but I think that property in the back, what we were talking about, Madison, that was
Oh, yeah,
developed
it
by
was Madison.
Madison.
Part of the, they owned the most, if not all of the land under the ballpark. And my memory is that they did a deal in exchange for some concessions on the construction of it and on the, building permits and taxes and that. But they were supposed to have in left field a building that was going to generate taxes. And that building originally was going to be office space. And then COVID-19 happened, and people aren't using offices anymore. Look, we're all zooming in everywhere, and people aren't using. I'm sitting in my office, my real estate office on Grafton Street some days. I feel like, like they say, like the old Maytag repairman commercials in the days when you're there by yourself and you wonder why you're even keeping an office. So people aren't utilizing office space, so that went down. Then they talked about using that pad. The foundation for it is actually there. They talked about using it for life sciences or some biomed work. That didn't work out, so I'm hoping that comes on. But the problem is that the deal that we had with Madison Properties, when I say we, the city, had, was that they were supposed to pay half of the taxes, or I don't remember if it was half, but it was a large amount, even if the building wasn't built. Well, that lasted for about 3 years. And then finally they said, you know what? We're not renewing that. Whatever had run out, and they just decided to go their way. They still own the property. I'm sure they still want to make money on it. But the bottom line is, the monies that we're in a deficit from are because those revenues haven't come in. But there has been some positives in that area. Again, the Ballpark Commission wouldn't deal with it, but to the defense of the ballpark financing package, things like Sir Morgan's Cove building, that wasn't in the original package. They didn't even envision that. But that did arrive, but that hasn't been fully on. That'll finally be on, I think, this year or next year, where it's completely done, and the tax revenue from that will help offset the ones that lost off the other side. But again, the Ballpark Commission, the facility, that's what the commission deals with. The facility, the building itself. And then what can we do to get more revenues for that, and in turn, more for the neighborhood and more for their tax district.
Yeah. Thank you, Josh.
All right, so we'll move forward with the vote for George and the Worcester Ballpark Commission.
Just for Worcester Ballpark Commission, Mike?
Absolutely, yes.
Is there?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
Amber?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
All 6 members voted in favor of George for Worcester Ballpark Commission, Worcester Redevelopment Authority. Mike?
Yes.
Is there?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
Amber?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Again, all 6 members voted in favor
Thank you, Arch.
of Josh.
Thank you, George.
Thank
We
you, George.
appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right, our next applicant is Jasmine Barnwell. Jasmine Barnwell. All right, our next applicant is Angie Moharrami. Hello, Angie.
Hello, pleasure to be here.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
I have here that you are interested in the Worcester Redevelopment Authority as well as the Planning Board. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, all right. If you could please tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're interested.
Yes, so hi, I'm Inji Moremi. I've initially immigrated to Worcester from Europe, Albania, when I was, this was 15 years ago with my family. And I've been connected to Worcester ever since. I have moved to Boston also for work purposes, but I have moved here back for, full time. And I really want to be involved with the community in the planning, I would say, aspect and the redevelopment. I am in the construction industry, and I have an architecture background. So I think I am very passionate about how a city evolves, and I really have witnessed how Worcester has developed over the last decade. It's been a tremendous change, and I want to be part of that change. And I want to see the vision that goes in this board and the strategic planning. I think it's been very fascinating to witness that, but also I think that having this experience in construction recently, I think it'll help me to better understand the process. I want to see what happens before these projects happen. Then, for example, I'm working for a construction company that's doing public work projects, and I'm currently going to be working for the Worcester Fire Station in Madison Street, which is very exciting. And so I really think that it would be a great opportunity for me to bring some design perspective, some problem solving if I can, and also think, as strategic planner in this board. I think that also I could bring some, I have some drawings, technical experience. I'm able to read scopes and analyze site plans and everything, so I think it could be also beneficial for this board. So yeah, and I think I have, I have a really strong passion to see Worcester evolve, and I want to really, be part of the projects that really help to shape our community. So that's my overall view.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll open it up to questions from the council.
Yes.
Sveti,
Mir. Oh, that's great.
I'm going to ask you a question like, what specific would you like to see happen in Worcester that could allow it to grow? That you, if you were on the board, and what kind of project specifically is what I'm looking for an answer?
Yes, that's a great question. I think so. From what I've witnessed so far, I think Worcester has tremendously developed in like the residential aspect. I see a lot of multifamily apartments that have been built, which is amazing. I've seen new restaurants, new coffee shops. So I really want to see the commercial development keep growing. And I think I have sort of my focus on some areas in Worcester that I can think that I could, use some development in the future. I also want to see Worcester, go towards urbanization as much as possible. I am very eager to see more young professionals, entrepreneurs come into the city. And then also, I think, for example, it would be very beneficial, it would be really great to see if Worcester, for example, had this like plaza full of like shopping and, restaurants that are focused in one area, sort of like dense together. I think it would be a great focal point for the city. I think I have of course, some ideas about certain areas in Worcester, developing some neighborhoods. On the design perspective, I think those are the main goals I have. But I think I love, the current growth, so I just want to keep, accelerating that.
Okay. Any specific areas in the city that you think might be beneficial?
Well, I think the downtown area, I think it's great. I just feel like it could use perhaps some more, new restaurants or some new coffee shops, which I've already seen that happen. I think Vernon Hill area could use some development, and also the Park Ave area, which is all the way to Webster Square, which I'm sure those are a work in progress, but I'd love to see what's going to be happening with those spaces in the future.
Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you. Parliamentary.
Thank you.
Other questions? I have a quick question. Do you anticipate any areas where there may be a conflict of interest with your line of work and being on any of these boards?
Yeah, so I think as of now, no, except if I do have a conflict of interest for any public projects with my current recuse from that. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Of course, thank you.
All right, looks like there's no other questions, so we'll move forward with the vote for the Worcester Redevelopment Authority.
All right, Angie for Worcester Redevelopment Authority. Mark?
Yes.
Asa?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
Amber?
Yes.
Tara?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
All 6 voted in favor of Angie. And then planning board. Mark?
Yes.
Asa?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
Amber?
Yes.
Tara?
Yes.
All right, all 6 members voted in favor. So
Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure. Very excited. Thank you.
Thank you. You'll hear from the city on the next steps. We
Okay.
appreciate your time.
Mayor Pash.
All right. Janice DiStefano. Hello, Janice. Thank you for your patience.
It's been very interesting.
Yeah. So I have here that you are interested in the planning board as well as the zoning board of appeals. Is that correct?
In honesty, it's more so the planning board, and the questions it asks you for another board if you're interested.
Okay. So did you just want to do for the planning board today?
Yes.
All right. Okay. So if you could please tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're interested in the planning board.
With the planning board, actually, George Russell, who just left, he's encouraged me to apply for different boards, and I feel now that I am ready to do so. I didn't know he was going to be here tonight. I am a licensed realtor in the state of Massachusetts, so as far as the planning board, I'm very familiar with the zoning ordinances and best use for land and whatnot. I am confused because I thought with the planning board, the opening was for District 3. I can say that I am a lifelong Worcester resident and lifelong in District 3. So that was why that one specifically sparked my interest, but I know it's of interest to me. I know there's a lot to learn. I know there's many, many, many pieces involved. I am ready for that. Being a lifelong resident of Worcester, I love how Worcester has tried so many different things and been successful in most, but I would still like to maintain the progress, the old with the new, to keep Worcester the way it's a big city in a small place, and I love that community, and I feel this is my best way to be part of that community.
Thank you. I have a question. Have you been able to familiarize yourself with anything that the past planning board meetings or anything online?
I have not. I just received the email, I believe it was last week, and I've had a few things going on. I know if I get approved, I know I will be hitting the books.
Okay. Thank you. Questions from the council? Just the planning board.
On the planning board, well, I think the planning board, it's the whole process. You have your ordinance, and that's what you go by. And then there's the zoning board of appeals if you need to appeal that. So it is pretty much, for the most part, cut and dry. There's always avenues around it, but my understanding is it's the ordinance, and you go by what the city has set forth.
Would you feel comfortable on that board?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, doesn't look like it, so we will move to a vote for the planning board.
All right, Janice for the planning board. Mark?
Yes.
Asa?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
Emma?
Yes.
Tara? All right, all 6 members voted in favor of Janice to move to the planning board.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you, Janice. You'll hear from the city on the next steps. We appreciate your time. All right, so we are at the end of our applicants. Just wanted to make sure if there was anybody on the teams who joined us later and was looking to get interviewed. All right, doesn't look like it, and just asking to the crowd here if there was anybody who wanted to didn't hear their name but was on the list. Okay. All right, so we'll move on to recruitment/outreach. As always, the worcesterculture.org excuse me, is where you can find upcoming events. Is there any recruitment or outreach that anybody on the council was looking to do that's upcoming? Hit your mic. Oh, you're good.
I haven't heard of anything that coming up at this time of events that we could be able to utilize. But perhaps maybe in the spring it'll open up a little bit more, and we can possibly look into some of the events. I don't know.
Sure.
A few things going on.
Yeah.
Right now, I think we're all focused on shoveling.
Getting through the winter. Yeah, no, that makes sense. So we can definitely look into more outreach in future meetings. Anything from our folks on the teams?
No, I totally agree with Ted. I think I think once the winter's over, we focus on events.
Okay. All right, and then moving on to future agenda items for next month. Anything we would like to see?
I just have something I want to ask about because I feel like tonight we heard several people say they put a second selection on their application because they felt compelled to do so. I don't remember making that change recently, but is that a new thing on the application, or is it just a random coincidence that so many people said that tonight?
So,
should we look at that? I don't want people to feel like they have to put a second choice.
no, so usually when you see on the application, you guys have it already. So there's a question where we are like, will you be, if you are considered for another board or commission, will you be able to accept that? Some people will say no uprightly, others will say yes.
Yeah.
But generally, we created like 2 spaces where folks, if you want to, probably like, you want to get like the preference, a particular board or commission that you want to sit on, but maybe you'll be like, maybe if I go, I don't get it, at least I can get a chance to sit on the second. So it's not required.
Yeah, no, and I knew that statement or that question was there, has always been there. It just seemed like tonight so many people said that it made me wonder if there was something different or new added to the application that was making people feel that way. I didn't recall that we had made any changes to it, but just kind of wanted to bring that up. Maybe it's just something we keep an eye on, and if it becomes a trend, we consider maybe clarifying that or rewording it on the application so people don't necessarily feel that they have to list a second choice.
Yeah, Carol, I agree. I like that idea of maybe there is including a caveat of you don't need to fill out 2 answers, just because as I'm looking at the verbiage here, list your choices in order of priority. So there may be kind of that insinuation there, but again, interesting that that same wording has been utilized, and today we heard it a bit more.
And so much tonight, right? I don't remember anyone ever really saying that before, and then all of a sudden we had like 3 or 4 people tonight feeling that way, so I just wondered.
Just for information purposes, we will be transitioning. We are currently working on a different system or software. The entire boards and commission activities will transition to that software, and it will be specifically intended for the boards and commission activities. But before that happens, you guys will be where I will invite our test services or technology department to come in and have like a training maybe provide like an overview for you guys to know exactly what it's about, if you have any input and stuff like that. So just to let you guys know in advance.
Yeah.
No, that's good to know. Do you mean the application will be eventually processed completely online?
Yes, definitely.
Good. Okay.
We're trying to like, because the city will be essentially transitioning to Workday, so we trying to get rid of papers and stuff like that. But like I said, I will invite our technology department to come in and sit in one of these meetings to actually go over the different systems that we pretty soon will be transitioning to.
Thank you, Carol, for bringing that up. I know we have a person, Janice, did you want to give us your feedback on that?
If you wouldn't mind me adding to
Yeah, of
that.
course.
I just recently applied, and you apply online, and you upload your letter of intent or your resume, but during the online application, it asks you for the second one. And then there is a question of, would you be interested in others? And you don't have to specify which one, but would you be interested in others? So that it definitely asks for a second choice.
Okay. Well, thank you
And
for sharing that, yeah.
I got a little nervous tonight thinking, oh my gosh, this is for both, because, I'm just dipping my toes in right now. When I get comfortable, yeah, then I'll do too. But, so I was kind of taken aback by that myself, but they definitely ask online for the second choice.
Well, yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. That's helpful to know. And I know that it seems like hopefully with this transition, that'll be a little bit more clear.
Before we move forward, if it's the decision of the CSC members, we can update the form. I can do that tomorrow pretty quick in the system to get rid of the probably second option or second preference requirement.
Well, I think if we could change the verbiage to see what people are passionate about and what their experience and education really focuses on.
Okay.
I
can do that and then send a form over to you people before the end of this week, and then please, when you receive it, just review it and then add or something, and then we can finalize the what we all will agree on.
So would we be able to add for the future agenda item when we have more folks in attendance? Maybe that could be something that we discuss after we've reviewed.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other topics of discussion for future agenda items? All right. Well, I will go ahead and ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right. Can I get a second, please?
Second.
All right. Thank you. Meeting is adjourned. We appreciate all your time. See you all next month.
Thanks. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.